Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Caden Cleveland here with the Oklahoma Senate, and you are joining us for another episode of OK Senate Sit Down. I'm super excited about this episode this week. We got one of my favorite senators, Senator Daniels. Now, Senator Daniels, you are the new chair of the Judiciary Committee.
I am, Caden.
And that's going to be a new role for you.
First time chair of Judiciary.
Exactly,
That's
right?
correct.
So we got a lot to talk about, and to talk about Judiciary, talking about everything that you have going on coming up with this upcoming session, and then also talk about just a little bit of legislation that you may have in mind for this upcoming year. So sound okay to you?
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Just fine.
Awesome.
All
Well,
right.
here we go. Well, hang on tight, guys, and we'll be right back. Hey guys, welcome back. And as I mentioned before, we have Senator Daniels with us this week. So Senator Daniels, you are one of our, a member of one of the newer classes here in the Senate. You haven't been here for too many years. Let me ask you this: this is your third
This
year.
will be my third year. Yes.
Okay, so in your 3 years, or I guess 2 years of experience that you have so far, what have you learned? And is there anything that you've learned in the past few years that you're taking into this upcoming session?
Absolutely. I'm now considered a sophomore, and I know 2 years ago how much I looked up to the people who were in their third year, and it's a rather frightening thought that some of the new ones are looking up to us now in the same way. I came in with a class of 13 that grew in a couple of special elections. I'm the only female in that class, working with a great group of gentlemen, and we have become a class and discuss things with each other and bounce things off each other. So it's worked really well that we're sort of a cohesive group who get along very well. What did I learn? That the volume of the work can be overwhelming. If you want to be diligent and you want to try and read all the bills and understand all the issues, you will be working overtime.
Oh, yeah.
And so I had not anticipated the pace because those 4 months are literally 24/7 for the 4 months, but it's all very stimulating work, and every issue is important to someone.
That's right.
So every issue has to be important to me, whether I'm able to dig into it in depth or just try to learn a little bit more about them from a constituent. Just this morning, I had some emails come in about a topic. They actually arrived in my junk mail, but I always check to see, and they were all from people in the district on a specific issue. And so I immediately crafted a quick response because I don't know if there is a bill out there on this issue. You don't want to commit just yet, but I wanted them to know, thank you for bringing it to my attention.
Yes.
And now on my list today is to go dig in a little bit and find out where that was coming from. Has somebody already got something out there that I'm unaware of? So just keeping up with everything is a challenge.
Exactly. I love that. Well, it's frustrating to me sometimes because being able to witness how hard the senators work and just the demand on the workload is unbelievable. When people say, oh, that's a part-time job, and they don't really do anything except for in those 4 months, it's kind of a misnomer, because really, even throughout the year, even during the interim, there's so much work to be done. You mentioned constituent work, just understanding legislation, understanding everything that's going on. There's just a ton of understanding, a big learning curve that happens when you get here to the Senate.
Caden, when the media covers this, it's usually shots of us on the floor. So people get the impression they come here, they sit in the chamber, they vote on bills. Well, you have to read them first.
That's right.
You have to understand them first. I have to ask lots of questions. I literally have sat on the floor, thank goodness for cell phones, and texted people in my district. Something on insurance will come up, and maybe I didn't have time to read it. I have a circle of advisors in my district. I can reach out and say, is this a red flag for you? It looks okay to me. If you don't get back to me in the next half hour, it may be too late.
Wow.
But I think we all do that. It's so wonderful to have people in the district you can call upon. And of course, I'm fortunate that I represent a fairly small geographical area, 2.5 counties in District 29. So I can get around them fairly easy in the interim. I know my colleagues out west, they have to spend a lot more windshield time on the road. But yes, in the 4 months that we're here, it's literally every day
That's right.
multitasking. And, you know, I was going to do a shout out at the end, but this is a good place to do it right now.
Yeah.
I want to shout out to the Senate executive assistants.
Oh, absolutely.
Kathy Townsend, who works for me, makes every day brighter and easier. And right now, as you know, with all this construction, a large number of the executive assistants, the ladies and a couple of gentlemen, are down in the basement in temporary space. It can be smelly. It can be smoky.
Yep.
There was a haze in the chamber the last time I was in the
fumes
building.
in there, yeah.
Yes. And you walk in, and there are all the senators sitting at the edge of their EA's desk talking, and they just brighten the day.
Right.
And constituents need to know that when you call, you know,
the
they aren't necessarily the gatekeeper, but they are your first line of communication with us, and they do a fantastic job, and I appreciate them more every day that I get to serve.
I love that so much. So if you don't know exactly what Senator Daniels is talking about here, the executive assistants are the full-time employees that work for the senators in their districts. So if you ever do call into Senator Daniels' office, you'll pretty much reach Kathy, right?
That's right.
And she'll be the one to help you and direct you. So if you ever do have need any issues or need any problems addressed or looked at, feel free to call over to the senator's office, and they'll do what they can to help out. So
there's a there's a heartbeat to this place,
yes,
and they understand that in a way that we don't. If they've been in the building long enough, I told a couple of the freshmen who told me who their executive assistants were that they are in a really enviable position to have somebody who's been in the building and knows all the ropes. So that moves. You asked me about being judiciary.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was very interested in the Judiciary Committee because I do have a legal background. I'm not a practicing attorney, but it was an excellent education. And I knew that there wouldn't be that many people interested in that committee. So I kind of felt called to say, I know enough to do a passable job on this committee and help those on the committee who aren't attorneys.
Right.
And so now to be asked to take on the position of chairman, the presiding part doesn't worry me so much. I mean, I was a mayor and served on the city council, did a lot of nonprofit board work, so that's okay.
Yeah.
That I think we can do all right. Somebody said yesterday, I hope you have a really exciting time as judiciary chair. And I said, I hope I have a very boring time as judiciary chair.
Yep.
You know, you need some sobriety on the judiciary committee, and every committee deals with serious work. Some people believe that because it's courts and laws that it's even more serious, impacts people in so many ways that we may not see. So we have to be careful and cautious and sober in our deliberations, but it's going to be a great committee. I've already had a meeting with my counterpart over in the House, Representative Kennedy. Going to try and coordinate with him. I have a few judiciary bills of my own, some very specific, you know, one that may be a little bit more reform-minded. I have a personal interest in our constitutional rights, a very particular interest in private property rights. And so those kind of informed my philosophy on things that have to do with the law over the years. Whether or not there will be a lot of bills on specific subject matter in those areas, I can't, you know, I don't know just yet, because they haven't actually, those bills haven't come to me yet.
Yes,
you know, we've just got them filed, and they'll get assigned to my committee, and then I'll get to see what sort of things are on the menu for our committee this year. But I'm really looking forward to it. I appreciate being asked to do the job. It just means more responsibility, but you know, the voters sent me here to do a job. So the more fully I can participate in what the Senate does, the better for me, and I think the better informed and the better senator I can be for my constituents. So it's a challenge, but it's going to be very enjoyable, I think.
We're about out of time, but did you have anything else you wanted to add?
We were just talking a little bit about legislation. So I got to serve on the medical marijuana task force. Appreciate the pro tem allowing me to do that. I was interested in it. Don't know anything about marijuana. I know a lot more than I did a few months ago. But the point was, when 788 passed, I saw that if we wanted it to work, we were going to have to understand a lot more what the voters. I will have a couple, 3 medical marijuana related bills that have to do with workplace and employers. And
well, I know that's been one of the biggest concerns, It's been workplace and how that all fits together,
And I'm offering a couple of tweaks to the 788 language myself. I know there may be an omnibus bill, but in the meantime, until I know that, I'm offering legislation of my own. And by getting to participate in that committee over the months, I'm well versed enough to think that I've got some good ideas, and I look forward to sharing those with my colleagues.
Man, that is awesome. Thank you so much for joining us this week. You have so many things going on right now. Just taking the time to sit down with us for a few minutes, I really do appreciate it.
Thank you for doing this. Absolutely. It is wonderful to be able to talk to folks in this manner and get more of the Senate side out there. Because we are here. We're just tend to be quieter, and so we don't get quite as much attention. But we're one of those co-equal part of this branch of government. So I appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you again. Thank you very much. Well, hey guys, thank you so much for joining us this week. I hope you've been able to learn a little about what Senator Daniels has going on with this upcoming year with the Judiciary Committee, and I guess some marijuana stuff that you've been working on. So marijuana legislation you've been working on. That's the better way to phrase that. Very good correction. But hey guys, thanks again for joining us. You can view all of our videos at protem.oksenate.gov. We got videos, articles, a bunch of infographics on there, all for you guys to take advantage of. It's on a whole different bunch of topics on what's going on here in Oklahoma. So if you ever have any questions or want just some information about what's going on in Oklahoma, budgets or whatever, check out our webpage at protem.oksenate.gov, and it'll have a lot of information on there. So Senator, thanks again for joining us.
Thanks, Caden. Have a great day.
We'll see you all next week. Bye, guys.